So, you want to do magic? Nothing could be easier and nothing could be harder. There are only a few rules to follow, and then, if you so decide, you can skip the rest of this book. Rule number 1. There are no rules. Rule number 2. It doesn't matter what you believe, just make sure you believe it. Rule number 3. Learn by doing and not by simply accumulating information. Rule number 4. Be brave. Use common sense. One word of warning. Be careful what you wish for. Sometimes you will work on a sigil and halfway through, it just doesn't look right to you. That is a sign that what you think you want and what you actually need are vastly different. Start from scratch and just keep going. The way magic works is by tapping into the universal consciousness and asking for help. Some think of this as God and others as your subconscious. It makes no difference what system of magic you use or what belief system appeals to you. Magic could be a deeply spiritual experience or no different from sending a text. There are centuries of research and philosophy that can benefit you in explaining how and why magic works. I based my practical magic on chaos magic. According to Aleister Crowley, magic is the science and art of causing change to occur in conformity with the will. Credit needs to be given where credit is due. Magic Toolbox. This is not a self-help book and has no modern popular psychology that you find in many other books on magic. If you are serious about practicing magic, it takes effort to get started. Anything that is worthwhile takes time to master. Think of magic as exercising a muscle in your brain that you never knew you had. Each chapter of this book will include exercises and examples, increasing in difficulty so you can start doing magic and see results as soon as possible. The first skill in your magic toolbox, and the most important, is meditation. We are not talking about hot yoga or screaming OM for an hour, although you can certainly incorporate that if it gets you in the right set of mind. Starting a meditation practice is probably the most healthy activity you can do for your brain. This is the very exercise that works out the brain muscle responsible for magic. Just like any exercise, the more frequently you do it, the stronger you get. But don't fall into the trap of negativity. When you skip a day or don't go the full time or just meditate all the time while doing zero magic. Long before I heard of magic or would have believed anything occult, I had an experience that completely altered my perception of reality. About 2 months into a daily meditation practice and about a week of detoxing, I was sitting on a couch, just relaxing. It wasn't even my intention of meditating. It was a cool summer evening, and my thoughts drifted off into a relaxed, meditative trance. Suddenly, all time stopped. My body was floating as I felt the planet spin beneath me. In the next instant, everything went white, and I was transported somewhere. All I could see was bright white light moving around me like the inside of an amoeba. A voice spoke to me. Instinctively, I knew this was God, or universal consciousness, and it was infinite. It had no beginning and no end. I was part of it, yet we were all one. When it spoke, I heard an overlapping I, you, we, and felt unconditional love like none before. I got to ask 3 questions and received 3 answers. As I was about to ask the 4th question about time, I found myself back on the couch. Looking around, every hard surface was rippling like ocean waves. And after about a minute, the ripples suddenly froze, and all hard lines focused into reality as we know it. A week later, I felt a presence in my room, not the all-loving infinity, but that smelling of brimstone. I called out to ask who was there, and then noticed a black dog sitting still in the corner. Its eyes were burning coal red. With a snarl, it vanished. This experience made me quit meditation for many years until discovering magic. Knowing everything that I know now, I neither disbelieve in God nor fear the dog. Sigil casting. Sigils are the pictorial representation of your magical will. They are the very basis of all practical magic. The hardest part of this type of casting is using your energy to project intent and then forgetting the original reason for it. There is a level of instinct used in creating sigils, so let's practice. Sit back and marvel at what you've created. There are many books written on how to cast and activate sigils. The goal is to open up your mind so you can access the deeper subconscious and it can channel your intent to the universal consciousness. You don't have to stand on one leg until you pass out or dance in a robe around the fire. However, the general principles still apply. The two methods of casting are the calm and the storm. In the calm method, you enter a meditative trance while gazing at the sigil. In the storm method, you are chanting a mantra, putting yourself in a frenetic trance. Casting a sigil is the ritual part of the process. A ritual is the ceremonial destruction of the sigil. You can just rip it up or even eat it. I do casting right after activation. You can elaborate this process to include building a temple or shrine. Belief is the primary fuel of all magic. So with that in mind, we are going to burn the sigil. Now comes the hard part. In order for this process to work, you will have to do your best to forget what the sigil looks like, what the mantra sounds like, and the original wish or statement of intent. Nature elementals. Have you ever walked barefoot on grass before? If not, go do it right now. I'll wait. You feel more relaxed and centered. That is because the earth grounded your energy. Anytime there is a transfer of energy, that's magic. In nature magic, you learn how to channel and interact with nature forces. There are 4 nature elements: fire, water, earth, and air. And the 5th one tying them all together is the spirit element. Everything that is alive has a spirit. You and the grass you walked on are both spirit elementals. In Practical Magick, we summon one or all of the nature elementals to provide energy for our casting, bless, heal, and protect. But before we can do that, we need to reconnect with nature. Unless you farm the land or live in a forest, some time needs to be spent outdoors. Thankfully, you don't have to go far to find nature. Go somewhere where you can sit on the grass and meditate. It can be in your backyard, a public park, or while camping. The important part is to relax, feel the wind, hear the birds, and be at peace. You find that the more time you spend outdoors and channeling nature elementals, the more likely you are to get a visit from a spirit animal. The first time it happened to me was about a month after making the tree friend. I just finished my daily 15 minutes routine and opened my eyes. It was a beautiful summer day with a cool breeze. I was casually observing an ant going about its business. Suddenly, my point of view changed. I was tiny, looking up at myself. I was the ant. I felt so sure of my purpose and place in the universe. It only lasted for a moment, and then I was back in my body looking down at the ant. This is a type of out-of-body experience or vision quest. Another example is the day after casting my first sigil. I was sitting on the porch and my wife saw a spider and went to get something to kill it. I was staring at it, and I didn't wish for it to die. I felt the same part of my brain responsible for magic light up. As I looked at the spider, the world shifted. It was as if someone cut a portion of a film out and pasted the rest together. The spider was there, and then there was a skip, and then it wasn't there. It did not crawl away. It just wasn't there. My wife came back with an electric swatter and exclaimed that the spider hid in the windowsill. Spirit animals are the closest spirit elementals to us. You can quickly summon them and they fade slowly from our consciousness. I recommend not letting a spirit animal possess you for longer than a few days, as this makes us more feral. Like with any power, be responsible. Once you make friends with a spirit animal, you may call upon it anytime. You will, however, have to pay a price, like learning more about the specific animal or doing some good deed for it. Every spirit animal has their own abilities and traits that we can embody. Not only will they energize our sigils, but also provide wisdom in our daily lives. We are going to learn how to rediscover our primal selves by enhancing our senses. It surprised me to learn that improving one sense benefited them all. The first week I practiced hearing, I started seeing almost a mile further than before. And when I did sight, food tasted better. You are now ready to call upon a spirit animal. One time, I had to deal with a rude manager at work. I did not want to use anger or charisma to solve the problem. My aim was to be indifferent. So I called forth an amphibian, something cold-blooded. A frog spirit showed up, and even though it was silly, I made the ribbit sound. I felt the indifference flow through me. The next few times I had to deal with this manager, I would make the ribbit sound under my breath before speaking with them. Greater spirits. Now we are entering advanced magic territory. Dealing with greater spirits or deities requires combining all the previous exercises, the general belief in magic, and your ability to enter this realm without fear or hesitation. Even if you do nothing but casting sigils and nature magic, many types of greater spirits will flock to your workings like moths to a flame. In the overall scope of the spirit realm, deities are the farthest from us and require bigger promises, but give us the most magical energy. Greater spirits are truly outside of our control, unlike servitors to be covered in future chapters. The only distinction between a deity and a greater spirit is that the first is well established, and the second is one you've never heard of. Your strategy for summoning them is the same. Show the same level of respect to them as you would a nature elemental, and the same level of bravery as you would a spirit animal. One time while casting, I summoned Anubis, the death god of the Egyptian pantheon. I don't remember what the statement of intent was, but it was something truly important. As I completed the storm, I called out for anyone to come and aid me, and in my mind I saw a man with a jackal head. He spoke with humor in his voice, and I felt his presence guide me. As I cast the sigil, the energy was so much stronger and darker. I promised to always respect the dead and pray every day to Anubis for a week. I finished the ritual with laughter to banish him. For the following week, as I chanted Anubis, I felt the jackal head superimposed over my own. My posture would straighten out, and I would grin slyly for no reason. Another time, while angry in the shower, I felt the presence of a greater spirit. It clad me in golden armor with ruby eyes. It must have been some kind of war deity. I felt the anger recede into rightful justice and a feeling of invincibility. I did not summon this greater spirit on purpose. Furthermore, the spirit animal of the spider still possessed me. Servitors. Servitors are manifestations of your magical will. These entities are programmed to fulfill a specific task and have limited free will. Unlike sigils, they grow in power by your repeated belief in them. So the more you interact with them, the better job they will do. They also require periodic feeding of energy to sustain their existence. Not all the energy has to come from you. I recommend treating them like a familiar. Depending on their area of expertise, they can sustain themselves indefinitely unless you program in their lifespan. Also, unlike a sigil, they are housed in an object of significance. The best way to explain how to create a servitor is to give an example of one. Meet Game Dancy, a playful meme entity able to sway crypto markets. Don't forget to feed your servitor often, even if it can get energy on its own. Every time any part of the programming statement is complete, remember to thank the servitor. You can reabsorb your magical energy and banish the servitor for any reason. If you need permanence to your casting, then using a servitor is better than a sigil. Dreamlands. When you dream, you have direct access to your subconscious. That is the part of the brain responsible for all magic. In the Dreamlands, you don't have to meditate or visualize. If you want to summon a greater spirit, there it is. If you cast a sigil, you see it in all its splendor. There is some debate whether the Dreamlands are an actual place we visit on the astral plane. It doesn't make any difference to our casting. Your brain can't tell the difference between dreaming and being awake. In that lies the solution and the problem. The only way to cast inside the Dreamlands is to have a lucid dream. That is when you know you are dreaming, but have full control of what you are doing. There are many ways to learn how to lucid dream. Be prepared for it to take a long time. I recommend that you first master all the other exercises and be confident in your magic will. The first way, and the one that is most popular, is to keep a dream diary. You can even record all your dreams in the magic diary. This way you can teach your brain to recognize the difference between being awake and asleep, so you can realize you are inside a dream and take control. The second way is to pick something you can only do in the Dreamlands, like flying. If you can fly, you are dreaming. You can also try this exercise while awake. Just make sure you are on the ground when you start. The third way, and the one I use, is to create a sigil you cast nightly before sleep. Everything you can do with magic while awake will be stronger in the Dreamlands. There's a real possibility that your magic will remain active on the astral plane. At the end of the day, Practical Magick is about completely transforming your life. Dream it, sigilize it, be it, rinse and repeat. There are worlds out there waiting to be explored. Believe in yourself and magic will be real. So dream big and be happy.